Hello, and welcome to my first video case study. I have invited the lovely and talented Ava Waits to be part of this. My name is Christine Gulrajani of Success is in Your Hands, and today what we're going to be talking about is life purpose. How does that show up in your life? Ava has graciously volunteered to be a guinea pig today. So we're going to be talking about Ava's life purpose and some of where her strengths and gifts are and some of where the challenges may be for her. And she's going to share some of that information with you as well. So Ava, I'm going to let you introduce yourself too.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is great. My name is Ava Waits, and I have a website called avawaits.com. And using my background in marketing, business building, and nutrition, I'm here to help you feed the source of your success. So we both have success in our taglines, and I loved that. So I'm just so thrilled to be here. Thanks.
All right. So should we just jump right into Ava's hands?
Jump in. They need some lotion. It's winter time right now. I need some more shea butter.
That's okay. So one of the things that right away you can see from Ava's hands is just in terms of her hand shape. Do you want to hold up your hands?
I'd be happy to.
We'll see. Okay. So Ava, look at her hands compared to mine. Longer fingers, they're a little more slender and graceful. Ava has what we would call water hands, and she also has a little bit of the element of fire. So what that means is that she can be incredibly intuitive, sensitive, really affected by her surroundings. She moves through life based on how she feels. And the fire is going to bring in the whole element of action. So often, this is the type of hand that you see on celebrities, on artists, performers.
Well, thank you.
It's a very dramatic type of personality. And because if you think about it, fire and water together, it's like you bring emotions into action. So and often, actresses, that's a great quality to have. It's like you're bringing emotion into action. So people with hands like this are dramatic. They're fun to be around. They're passionate. They're both emotional and willing to take action. So that's what we have as far as personality. As far as life purpose with Ava, her life purpose is the powerful innovator. And what that means is we divide this into two pieces, her life purpose. Some people have a singular life purpose and some people have one that's made up of different areas. And hers is two different areas. One is power or leadership. And the second piece is the innovator. And so just to give you a really quick summary of what that means, people with the leadership life purpose, they are here to be high achievers. They are here to be leaders. They're here to step into their power, like really step into that person who has a vision of what they want to create, and they inspire other people to come along with them on that journey. The innovator is a life purpose. And it's one of my favorites. I love innovators. So, innovators are the people who are here to go against the grain. They are change agents. They are people that bring new ways of doing things. They're the inventors, the master crafters, the people with new ideas. And so, innovators are not necessarily here to make you comfortable. So, innovators tend to push buttons because they have new ways of doing things. And we're not always happy to see that coming because we get kind of set in our ways. Have you ever been there? You get set in your ways of, And, somebody comes along like, oh, I have a new way to do this. And you're like, I'm okay. I'm all right being stuck where I am. Innovators are people that help you get unstuck. They really, they have new ideas, new ways of thinking about things. And so what I wanted to do is kind of turn that over to you for a moment.
Of course.
And, maybe speak to either of those elements. Like, where have you seen those show up for you in your life?
Yeah.
Where are the times where you really know you've been in that?
Right. So, in the innovator, kind of pushing the buttons.
Innovators push people's buttons. They just
pushing the buttons. I think one of the biggest things that I remember in this moment is, especially 2 years into my business. So I started my business when I was really young. I was 22 years old. And to go into the business world, I started doing a lot of the nutrition work. And when I started networking, especially with other women who were in the age range of, actually most of my clients were double my age at that point. I was working with women in their 40s to 60s. But what I did notice around me was some of the professional women didn't really like what I was doing, or they were negative about it, or just it kind of came at me. You know, these were my first experiences with having someone else be upset by what I was doing. And I understand that some of those women didn't have this opportunity to be a young woman entrepreneur when they were in their early 20s. And so it was funny, you know, seeing that kind of happen and seeing some of that kind of backlash coming toward me. And it was way out of my comfort zone, because I really like to make people comfortable, and I really like to be with people and to have that comfort there. Yeah. But so me doing, you know, forging ahead as this young entrepreneur who was totally doing things on her own, I saw a lot of people being frustrated and upset by that.
Yeah.
Not everyone,
excellent.
But there were definitely some that stood out in my mind where I'd come home and say, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe she just said that to me.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah. That's a great example. Innovators are very often ahead of their time. So sure, you have these women who maybe have had more life experience, or just, you know, have been on the planet longer, thinking like, oh, who is this 22-year-old who's going to tell me how to do things? But if she's an innovator, she can. Right. That's the thing.
Well, that's interesting to think about. I mean, I don't feel like I'm better than the women who are maybe double my age, but it's just, I feel like I'm here at a time where I just started early.
It's really, it's just like, you're just here to bring new ways of thinking about things and new ways of doing things. Right. And that sometimes will make people uncomfortable. What I always tell people that have the innovator as part of their life purpose is you have to get really comfortable with disapproval. You have to cultivate this.
That's hard.
This like strong, rock solid sense
skin
of self-approval.
Right.
When this is your life purpose. And so that's some of your work. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to screw that up. You know, there's going to be times where you're like, oh, I moved a little too far over into wanting to be liked, wanting to be part of something, so I wasn't really pushing the innovator envelope. And then you might even swing to the other extreme where what some people do is almost take a defensive posture. Like, I'm going to disapprove of you before you can disapprove of me.
Oh, interesting.
And it's a way you, like, hold people apart. Right. So it goes either direction. You know, people operate in it differently. What about the leadership part of this? Where do you see yourself really kind of stepping out there as a leader?
Yeah. I feel like that's already happened. That just in my vision, especially in the way I'm building my business, that I'm really okay being seen. Like I'm totally okay being up on big stages. I'm okay being in front of audiences and speaking and teaching and being on video like this. I've been doing video now for almost 4 years, and it's just something I felt like I was built with. I don't really see it any other way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so ingrained in me that it's just like, oh yeah, that's what I do. And also I was the oldest of 4 children in my family growing up, so I had that leadership feeling all of my life. Being the oldest of 4 children, that I was the one who paved the way. I was the first one who learned how to drive. That was an experience. So just things like that. Like, I was always the first one in my family, so I think that makes me more comfortable. And sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself to be the first, but it was just there.
Yeah.
It's been there for a while.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your life lesson.
Yeah, of course.
And how that plays out.